Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We got a lot to get to today. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. We were bouncing around. We had baseball games and football games and all sorts of chaos, the good kind. And we had a lot of fun. You have a good weekend, Mason?
It was a good one, busy one, but good one.
Yeah, you working a lot?
Yeah, every day.
Did you happen to catch the new word for the week while you were going through your weekend?
Oh, no, I didn't. I was assuming they would stick with chaos for a while.
No, actually, it's changed. The word of the week now is escalation.
We begin tonight with the escalation in the president's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a major escalation in the Trump administration's deportation efforts.
And what is a major escalation in the battle here in D.C. over immigration and deportation.
This feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration arresting a judge. I will tell you, you are not alone.
Is a dramatic escalation.
More aggressive moves, more escalation.
Trump's escalation of his migrant purge.
This kind of escalatory action.
This is a dramatic escalation.
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 We've seen an escalation.
That was put together by one Western Lensman on Twitter. The word of the week, my friends, escalation. Sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it? Oh, what could the Trump administration be escalating now? This is terrifying. This is exactly what we didn't want to happen, right? Well, actually, on the conservative side, we welcome this escalation. And the escalation that they're referring to is one judge by the name of Hannah Dugan, and Hannah Dugan being arrested. Yes, the Wisconsin judge who helped an illegal alien avoid ICE arrest. Well, she was arrested herself. And to that, we say to the FBI, thank you. Wow. This news broke on Friday as we were kind of wrapping up our show. And it was insane to watch it unfold in real time as the weekend went on, because what you had was a Democrat activist judge protecting an illegal alien, and she did what happens on that very famous chart, the F around and the find out chart. The more you F around, the higher the chances are of finding out, and she F'd around pretty high. And she found out pretty quickly. The FBI has arrested Milwaukee judge who allegedly helped an illegal immigrant avoid arrest when the foreign national was scheduled to appear in court, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reported. According to the outlet, federal agents took Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan on charges of obstruction after she allegedly interfered with an arrest operation to detain illegal immigrants. FBI Director Kash Patel on X said just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence that Judge Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, after evidence that she was obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Well, now she helped him evade arrest, so she's dealing with her own arrest. Attorney General Pam Bondi posting on X on Friday, I can't confirm that our FBI agents arrested Hannah Dugan, a county judge in Milwaukee, for allegedly helping an illegal alien avoid arrest by ICE. No one is above the law. Wow, remember that? Did you remember? I love that they're using it against him now. No one's above the law. That's what the Democrats yelled at us during the campaign while Donald Trump was being unfairly persecuted by these same leftists. No one's above the law. Yet now that Judge Hannah Dugan is being arrested, it's, oh my gosh, can you believe it? Can you believe what the Orange Man is doing? In fact, the New York Times, as a writer for the New York Times, David Brooks, he went so far as to call the actions of one Judge Hannah Dugan heroic?
Well, obviously, they're trying to send a note of intimidation, not only to her, but to all judges and maybe to all Americans.
I just want to stop it there real quick. Yeah, it's about sending a message. And you're going to hear many leftists say this. Oh, they're trying to send a message. And I don't know if this is like a defense mechanism, if it's an attack tactic, or, oh, they're just trying to send a message. It's like, yeah. Yep, we absolutely are trying to send a message. And the message is, F around, find out. That's the message. It's not an overly complicated message, but it is a message. And yes, I tend to agree. This is about the only thing I agree with David Brooks here about, is that, we're trying to send a message. But then he goes a step further, and he says, well, I don't have any specifics. I don't have the specifics yet. What I can tell you by looking at this is what that judge did was heroic.
But I don't yet know the specific details of this case, whether she escorted the guy out the jury door or whether she's let him. So that's all murky. I don't want to comment on this specific case.
Yeah, don't worry about the specifics. Specifics, they're too specified.
But especially on the issue of immigration, there are a lot of people who are appalled by what the administration is doing. And there will be times for civil disobedience. And to me, let's say she did escort this guy out the door. If federal enforcement agencies come to your courtroom and you help a guy escape, that is two things. One, it strikes me as maybe something illegal.
That's where David Brooks should have stopped. He should have just stopped right. He should have said one thing, and he should have said it's illegal. But he didn't stop there. No. He wanted to let you know how stunning and brave this was.
But it also strikes me as something heroic.
Okay. Just let the record show. If you help an illegal alien evade ICE in a federal courtroom as a federal judge, gosh darn it, you're a hero. A hero, I say.
And in times of trouble, then people are sometimes called to do civil disobedience. And in my view, when people do civil disobedience, they have to pay the price. That's part of the heroism of it, frankly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to pay the price. That's what makes it so gosh darn heroic. Don't you understand this? It makes it extra heroic that she has to pay a price. This was also all aired on PBS, who I just hope and pray the Trump administration cuts the funding to as quickly as humanly possible, because this is the exact type of liberal indoctrination and propaganda that our taxpayer dollars do not need to be funding. Just another example. David Brooks, he doesn't know the specifics. I don't know the specifics. Without knowing the specifics, all I can tell you is that what this judge did was simply heroic, extraordinary, historic, if you will. I don't know the specifics. Very, very convenient that he didn't know the specifics before he went on TV for a news hit on this. I think he did know the specifics. I think he intentionally left the specifics out, because when you hear about the specifics of this individual that Judge Hannah Dugan allowed to leave her courtroom, in fact, distracted ICE agents while he slipped out the back door, if you knew the details about the individual, well then, it gets a little bit murkier. One individual with all the details is none other than our Attorney General, Pam Bondi.
No one is above the law. In Milwaukee, an illegal alien from Mexico was in court being prosecuted for domestic violence. He was charged with violently attacking a man, punching him in the face 30 times, strangling him, and then attacking a woman by punching her in the face with his closed fist.
Now you understand why David Brooks didn't know all the specifics. Now you're starting to understand why David Brooks didn't have all the details before he went on PBS and told the world that what that judge did, that activist judge in Milwaukee, what she did was heroic. Is it heroic to allow an illegal alien who's beaten up a woman escape out the back door? Is that heroism to the left? Apparently.
Both victims were brave enough to be in court. The judge, Hannah Dugan, learned that ICE was outside to arrest him after court. She is now charged with obstruction of justice for sneaking this criminal defendant, an illegal alien, out a back exit through her chambers to avoid his arrest, leaving the victims and prosecutors sitting in court all morning waiting on justice.
Well, she heroically let them sit in court all morning awaiting justice. I think you have to add in the heroic nature of what this leftist activist judge did. And I don't want to miss the heroism, the bravery, the stunningness of it.
In New Mexico.
This is the other judge that they've been talking about, the New Mexico judge, the guy that was harboring 3 Tren de Aragua gang members at his home with his wife and daughter. Not probably the best decision to make for your family, but this is another bit of escalation by the Trump administration.
Law enforcement was tipped off that Judge Joel Cano had a TDA member living in his home. The judge and his wife allegedly gave him access to assault rifles, one with a suppressor, to go to a shooting range to perfect his skills.
I wonder if David Brooks would also refer to this as heroic. The judge in New Mexico heroically lent out his assault rifles to these Tren de Aragua gang members so that way they could heroically practice their aim at the shooting range. And then the same judge heroically grabbed the Tren de Aragua gang member's cell phone and smashed it to pieces because there was pictures of dismembered bodies on it, right? This would be considered heroic too to the left?
Law enforcement found pictures on his cell phones and social media showing multiple tattoos and gang insignia. They also found a picture of him with the judge. He had mocked a $5,000 reward to catch TDA members. They also had pictures of 2 victims who had been decapitated. Their hands were cut off and their bodies had also been mutilated.
But that shouldn't be a problem for the left, right? Like the left doesn't. Is that still? Are we still dabbling in heroics? I've kind of confused at this point. Are these judges still heroes?
The judge, now charged with obstruction. Post Miranda, he admitted he destroyed one of the cell phones with a hammer and then took it to a city dumpster down the street to dispose of the evidence. The Trump administration will fight for victims. The rule of law is very simple. It doesn't matter what line of work you're in. If you break the law, we will follow the facts and we will prosecute you.
Well, I hope to see a lot more prosecutions like this, and you're going to hear a lot of audio, a lot of reaction from over the weekend where people on the left are saying, this is just the Trump administration trying to send a message. And it's like, duh. Yeah. Yeah. That might be the most factual statement that the Democrats have said all year. Yes, a message is being delivered. What's the issue? Would you rather us just continue to praise these activist judges for their heroics and allowing illegal aliens who beat up men and women to just leave their courtroom through the back door? Is that heroic? I mean, in Milwaukee in particular, you had a Wisconsin Democrat state rep by the name of Ryan Clancy going on TV and essentially just whining and crying for this judge, saying that what Judge Dugan, by allowing an illegal alien who had an ICE detainer, who was going to be arrested by ICE in the federal courtroom, by allowing him to sneak out the back door, this same individual who has beaten women, you had a Wisconsin state rep saying, this is what we should all be doing. We should all be more like Judge Hannah Dugan.
No precedence for taking a judge in this manner. And I want to be really clear that what Judge Dugan apparently did was what all of us should be doing. And that is standing up for folks in our communities who need support right now against the Trump regime more than ever.
Yeah, and you know who needs support right now when it comes to the Trump regime more than ever? Well, it just turns out that the people that need the most support happen to be illegal alien, gang members, wife beaters, human traffickers, drug smugglers, and the like. Well, you're not going to support those people? Well, then you're not as heroic as Judge Hannah Dugan, are you? That's disappointing. When these people need us, we should be stepping up and showing up and making our voices heard. That's what we should do. We got a lot more reaction from this story. I also want to take your calls on it, see what you're thinking about these judges being arrested. Are you excited about it? Do you think that this is the message that needs to be delivered to these activist judges? 615-737-9986. When we get back, you're going to hear from a lot more Democrats Like one Maxine Dexter. She's the Oregon rep who went to El Salvador to visit Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You also had reaction from Amy Klobuchar. You have Chuck Schumer weighing in, and the leftists, the NPCs, the non-player characters, if you will. The TV told them to be upset, so they went out in numbers over the weekend to protest what happened to Judge Hannah Dugan. We'll talk about all that and more on the way. Hang out with us. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
An executive order coming down today on sanctuary cities. And the process to select a new pope has been scheduled. We'll have those stories at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. Looking forward to that executive order later this afternoon and how leftist heads will explode. Yet these same leftists, when it comes to Democrat judges helping illegal alien criminals evade ICE arrest in their courtrooms, we're told that these individuals are heroic. Cue up David Brooks from the New York Times.
But I don't yet know the specific details of this case, whether she escorted the guy out the jury door or whether she's let him. So that's all murky. I don't want to comment on this specific case. But especially on the issue of immigration, there are a lot of people who are appalled by what the administration is doing. And there will be times for civil disobedience. And to me, let's say she did escort this guy out the door. If federal enforcement agencies come to your courtroom and you help a guy escape, that is two things. One, it strikes me as maybe something illegal, but it also strikes me as something heroic.
It's illegal, but it's heroic. That's the failing New York Times and David Brooks. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Rudy, who's on the road, you're up first on Super Talk. What's up, Rudy? Do you think that Judge Hannah Dugan is the model for heroism in 2025? Yeah, Rudy.
Nope. Bang the gong, man. She fails because the false heroism being added to her, the whole fear-mongering about how ICE is, just pulling people off the street. It's just total hypocrisy on the part of the legacy media and any of the, representatives that we have in the House and the Senate that are trying to support basically criminals. I mean, I get it if you're not a criminal and you're here illegally, there should be a path of, leniency, but for known criminals, I mean, I heard this over, I think it broke Friday into Saturday, the whole idea that these people who had been beaten so severely, they were in the hospital.
Yep.
And still wanted to go ahead and support convicting this cat. They got cheated.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rudy. I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Tim, Mike, Glenn, hang on the line, guys. We'll get to your calls on the way. Plus, we'll hear from more of these leftist radical Democrats sticking up for one Judge Hannah Dugan when we return. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 9:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll have a weather forecast upcoming. The White House announcing that President Trump, he's signing another executive order today on sanctuary cities. At a news briefing, border czar Tom Homan defending the FBI arrest of a Wisconsin judge who allegedly helped an undocumented immigrant facing domestic violence charges evade authorities.
You can sit aside and watch. You can argue against us all you want and protest all you want. But when you cross that line, I've said this 1,000 times, when you cross that line to impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted, judge or not.
The executive order directs the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that obstruct enforcement of federal immigration laws. The Vatican now says the conclave will begin on May 7th for the selection of a new pope after the death of Pope Francis. ABC's James Longman, he is in Rome.
They have been here to Santa Maria Maggiore to spend time in prayer and reflection. I think being close to Pope Francis helps them in their decision. There will be no communication during conclave, but before then, some of them actually have been speaking, including who we think might be the oldest cardinal of the group, 79-year-old cardinal from Spain. He actually turns 80 in May, so he's just squeezing in. He has said that he has already made his decision about who he's going to vote for.
Well, that is the latest news. We have weather up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. So Judge Hannah Dugan, there was 2 judges arrested, right? We had Judge Joel Cano, who is in New Mexico, and he was letting some Tren de Aragua gang members live at his house and borrow his guns. Well, and he also helped them destroy evidence. But, okay. It's heroic. Then we had Judge Hannah Dugan, who had a guy in her courtroom who allegedly was beating some guy halfway to death and then beat up the woman with him halfway to death. And then the judge said, we can't let this man to be deported. He's doing the jobs Americans don't want to do. So she snuck him out the back door. She snuck him out the back door while ICE waited in the courtroom to arrest this monster. And the TV is now very upset. The leftists are saying what the judge did was heroic. So the NPCs, the non-player characters, and the SEALs of the Democrat Party, people that for some reason are still voting Democrat, they took to the streets to let their voices be heard in protest of the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. Give me a little audio.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No due process, no peace. No due process, no peace.
Well, the judge didn't want the illegal alien to have any justice. And so now the judge is going to get the due process. So everybody should be happy, you would think, but people are very, very upset, especially when it comes to those on the left. They are just beside themselves when it comes to what happened to Judge Hannah Dugan and Maxine Dexter, who is the Democrat rep out of Oregon. She's one of the Democrats who went over to El Salvador to visit Abrego Garcia. She's still not sure why this exactly happened. She needs some clarity.
Federal judge being taken into custody without clarity of what the charges or what infraction there has been is without question a very dangerous signal about what's happening. And I agree with you. It's a through line. Like, the people willing to protect immigrants from being deported without due process are the target here.
Except he was in a courtroom getting his due process. I think it's a far bigger threat to have a Democrat politician like one Maxine Dexter. Whether she is aware or unaware, regardless, it's still just as bad. Either you get on TV and you're unaware of the facts of the case, so you just go back to your regularly scheduled Democrat talking points, or worse, you know exactly what happened, and you go on TV with your regularly scheduled Democrat talking points and lie to the American people. No matter how you slice it, it's embarrassing, and people are upset. Tim in Nashville wants to weigh in on these judges. What's up, Tim? Thanks for holding, man.
Hey, man, I just want to know what are they going to lose their rights to be a judge?
I would hope so. I would hope so.
I would hope so, too. I mean, it's ridiculous how they can just throw their weight around and nobody else can throw theirs, you know?
No, you're absolutely right, man. And I'm gonna find out that the answer to that question to you, because I think it's a fantastic question. Appreciate the call, Tim. Let's go to Mike in Nashville. Mike, what's up, man?
Yeah. How you doing, Chris? Hey, you know something, Chris, man? It seems like every time I call you, the situation gets worse with these judges and leaders. You know, last week when I talked to you, you know, it was a situation with the senator that went down to El Salvador and tried to bring this man back, saying that his rights had been violated, that even though he was a gang member, a wife beater, you know, and just when I thought, Chris, that they couldn't stoop no lower, now there's 2 more breaking stories that's in the news. I got another story that you can check up on after I talk to you about this judge. You got a judge who literally tried to sneak a man out of the courtroom while he was supposed to be arrested by Tom Homan and his people. This is, I never thought that a judge could stoop that low, Chris. This is bad what she did. Donald Trump and his people did the right thing. Not only should she go to jail, she also should be disbarred. You can't trust that person to be in another courtroom ever again to do the right thing. But now here's another story, Chris, that you can check up on over the weekend, I heard that there was a party that was going on in Colorado Springs, Colorado, with known gang members, MS-13s, Trendy Aragos, and Tom Homan, and his people did a raid on the place and arrested over 200 people. But here's the sad part about the whole deal, Chris, is that they said that there were Colorado Springs is a military base area. They said that there were actually military people that were acting as security at this party, the paid American military people that were acting as security at this nightclub that was raided by Tom Homan with known gang members in there in Colorado Springs, Colorado over the weekend. This is really sad that American people are supporting this type of activity, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about that. And I thank you for taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Mike. As always, I'll definitely look into that Colorado Springs story. As far as the Judge Hannah Dugan story goes, it is absolutely wild. Now, we did have a caller right before Mike who said, what happens to her as a judge. Currently, there's a couple considerations into whether or not she can continue being a judge. So she's facing serious felony charges, potential max of 6 years in prison if she's convicted on both counts. A felony conviction would lead to her disbarment as an attorney, which would then effectively disqualify her from serving as a judge, as Wisconsin law requires judges to be licensed attorneys. Now, even if she's not convicted, the Wisconsin Judicial Commission could investigate her actions for violations of the Judicial Code of Conduct. Such investigations could result in sanctions, including suspension or removal from the bench if her actions are deemed to undermine judicial integrity or public trust. So I don't know. I think really what it comes down to is you're going to need a conviction if you want her removed from the bench, because what this shows us is the amount of leftist indoctrinated individuals that are ingrained in this system in Wisconsin. So I don't have any faith that if she's not convicted of these crimes, that she'll be removed from being a judge. Personally, I just don't. Why would you have any faith in that? She's got to be convicted. But I don't think the DOJ would have brought these charges if they didn't think that they could get a conviction. And there's even very prominent individuals like Andy McCabe, you may remember, the former deputy director of the FBI. Andy McCabe says that this case is solid legally, even though he says this is unprecedented and it dabbles in performative cruelty. This is Andy McCabe on CNN over the weekend.
It's not an unreasonable complaint. There's plenty of evidence in the complaint to get you beyond the probable cause phase, which is where we are right now. And I think when you start looking at how the judge was treated after the events that led to the charge, so where and when and how she was arrested, and the fact that she was arrested at the courthouse rather than her own residence, the fact that she was placed in a jail cell for hours before her arraignment was called in the court later in the afternoon. These things are unprecedented. Typically, upstanding members of the community who have no criminal history and aren't accused of a violent act are allowed to self-surrender at the time of their arraignment. The fact that they did not offer that courtesy to her and instead went out of their way to treat her harshly, I believe is an act of performative cruelty on behalf of the Department of Justice, which is not the way any Department of Justice should be acting.
Oh, yeah. It's performative cruelty. Oh, you mean like FBI agents raiding Barron Trump's room? You mean like FBI agents raiding Melania Trump's underwear drawer? Is that also performative cruelty? Because I didn't ever heard Andy McCabe being upset about that. Now, the important point to highlight is how Andy McCabe says, legally, this case is solid. Is it performative cruelty? Is that what it is? Is it sending a message? Yes. And I believe that message needed to be delivered. Mike in Morrison wants to talk about these judges, especially Hannah Dugan in particular. What's up, Mike?
Hey, put her on the cover of Time, Heroism 101.
Honestly, so heroic. Stunning and brave, Mike. Stunning and brave.
I know. And one question. So if both judges do get disbarred, Trump will be able to appoint new judges in their spot or no?
I think that would have to depend on the state, and I'm not sure if these judges are elected or appointed, but I'll look into it for you. That's a good question. I appreciate it. Glenn in Franklin. Glenn, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Glenn?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Hey, Glenn, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's up, Glenn? What do you got?
All right. Well, first off, thank you for informing us and what you all do at the radio station. I pray for you guys, and thank you so much for everything what you all do. Two things. One, last week I tried to get in with transgender on the sports things. You know, just block them. Don't pass the ball to them. Block them. Don't let them succeed or whatever, for one. So that kind of limit. I was in sports too, and people which were meanies, bullies. We just blocked them. We just know them how to ball or whatever. And eventually the coach got the meaning. You know, we lost some games because they were good players. And it was all male, of course, but they were bullies. So we took care of it all ourselves as team members. Second, on these judges, aren't they sworn to uphold the Constitution of the state and all the federal, you know, or national Constitution and also state constitutions? That is a violation of their oath, and it should be one on that, I would think, disbarred. And then second, that's criminal justice. That's enemy of the states. So in prison, or either deported right along with the people they were trying to like and protect and want to be around with. Well, fine, just deport them with them.
You wouldn't hear any complaints out of me from that one, Glenn. I appreciate the call. To go back to a caller before saying, you know, does Donald Trump get to replace Hannah Dugan, the judge out of Milwaukee who helped an illegal alien evade being picked up by ICE in her own courtroom? No, Donald Trump would not be able to select her replacement. In Wisconsin, those are all done via elections. Charles on the road. What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing all right, Chris. Hey, I'm not really concerned about these judges anymore because I think we're missing the entire point.
Okay, what are we missing?
All up about this cat that got deported to El Salvador, who is not a U.S. citizen.
Yep.
Okay, so if he's not a U.S. citizen, where's his due process rights? I mean, isn't that that's a U.S. citizen constitutional right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I tend to agree with you. If you didn't follow due process on the way in, we shouldn't have to be worried about due process on the way out.
Yeah, that's my point. So how do you, I mean, why are we even talking about this? If you're an illegal alien, you don't have the same constitutional rights that you and I do.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm with you 100%, and I appreciate the call. Angela in Fairview, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Angela?
Hi. I just wanted to say these judges should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is not political privilege.
Amen.
So, you know, with that said, they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent.
Yep.
And thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
I'm with you, Angela, and I appreciate you listening. As always, she faces 6 years in prison. Scott Jennings really took to task the talking point that has been floating around all weekend, that this was performative, that the Trump administration was just trying to send a message, and that they didn't have to go about it this way for Judge Hannah Dugan. They didn't have to arrest her in her own courtroom. And it's like, well, yeah, this absolutely was to send a message. Scott Jennings on CNN.
It's an embarrassment.
Let me just respond to something
you
said,
go ahead.
which is that you said, well, you got to worry about the impact on the community.
Yes.
The president and the Justice Department and his people have to worry about the impact of illegal immigration on the country, because nobody's been worried about that for years. And the reason this is important is because this is one of Donald Trump's biggest criminal justice priorities. And frankly, it's one of the American people's biggest priorities to control this. And you know well, there are people all over towns, all over this country who have been working overtime to try to stop him from executing on this agenda. If she turns out to be one of them, a spectacle is warranted so other people will stop doing it.
I appreciate
Yes, a spectacle is warranted so other people will stop doing it. Listen, these lefties, these radical leftist judges, they feel so secure and smug when they're ruling against Donald Trump, when they're going against the Constitution, when they're going against their own oath to that Constitution. A message needs to be sent. And I think a message was delivered on Friday. And I think that you're going to have a lot of radical activist judges who aren't as tough as they like to appear to be, second-guessing doing anything like this. Was it a message being sent? Yes. and I hope it was received.
We really got to go. Is that there are people and one political party in this country dedicated to re-importing illegal aliens hand over fist, and it is outrageous.
It is. It is outrageous. Scott Jennings is absolutely right. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at USS, and we got more rain on the way this week, and you haven't called USS yet to fix your waterproofing issues. Come on, man. I've been telling you it's time to call United Structural Systems, but I get it. When it comes to these home repairs, especially the waterproofing, we pretend we don't see the warning signs. It's almost too easy to ignore. You get a little water in the basement, you get some damp walls after the rain, you hope it'll go away, and sure, it dries up, but then more rain comes. And here's the truth. These small problems never stay small. The good news is USS is going to come to your house and give you that peace of mind. See, USS has done this for over 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky. They're not going to show up with sales pressure. They're going to show up with a custom solution, getting your home back on track. That way, you know that it's going to get fixed, and it's going to get fixed the right way. Whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, USS will stand behind their work. They'll leave behind a lifetime warranty. So if you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, keeping homes dry and stable, online at USSTN.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Another executive order expected to come down today on sanctuary cities. And a Kansas City first responder stabbed by someone he was helping. We'll have those stories at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. Thank you, Jay. Mason Fleming is producing, and my name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. If you want to join the show, 615-737-9986. You can do that via the text line. You can do that via the phone lines, or you can jump inside the chat over on the YouTube channel where we are live on Super Talk TV. Yeah, you can watch the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. When you watch the show, all the audio that you hear on your radio will have a video element along with it. So just an added bonus. Hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it when you do. There was a Milwaukee County executive who went on MSNBC to talk about the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan, and he was just stunned, shocked, horrified by the actions of the FBI.
I'm curious how you first learned about this today.
I first learned about this actually planting trees at one of our parks. It is Arbor Day, and when I learned about this, quite frankly, I was quite shocked.
I had to stop planting those trees. And I had to take a deep breath, and I had to regain my composure. And it was a shame because we were on a roll. We were planting some elm, some spruce. I don't know, I'm running out of trees. Hey, what do you got?
Aspen.
Pine. Do people plant pine trees? I just remember growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
The pine needles in my yard were just awful.
Goodness, all over the place.
Even on Arbor Day, I don't think anybody's eager to plant a pine tree. So this guy, he's just trying to celebrate Arbor Day. And he finds out that an activist leftist judge has been arrested. Talk about ruining your Arbor Day. That's not what you want on Arbor Day.
I couldn't believe what I had seen. I was horrified by the actions of the FBI coming onto our county courthouse grounds, literally going after a sitting judge who's not a flight risk, and literally bringing so many officers to arrest her. I truly look at this as political showmanship, and there's absolutely no reason for the FBI to have carried out their actions the way that they did today.
Well, except for the fact that she let an illegal alien sneak out the back door. An illegal alien accused of assaulting a man, punching him over 30 times. An illegal alien accused of, beating a woman. Listen, I understand. Democrats cheer for men to beat women now. This is what we get. This is what we see. But even this one, it's a bit of a bridge too far for your average American. We'll take more of your calls on the way. Plus, we have a lot more reaction to Judge Hannah Dugan. 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 10 a.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Stand by for a weather forecast. The White House kicking off a week marking the first 100 days of President Trump's second term, announcing he'll sign 2 executive orders later today, including one concerning sanctuary cities. Now, at a news briefing, border czar Tom Homan claiming immigration is down 96% since Mr. Trump took office.
How many women aren't being sexually assaulted by the cartels? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this nation? How many known suspected terrorists aren't making it into this country? How many pounds of fentanyl isn't getting to this country to kill young Americans?
A Kansas City woman is held on charges of fatally stabbing a first responder. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
It was a routine medical call about a person with an injured finger. The patient was loaded into an ambulance, and within minutes, the driver made a frantic call for help. The audio comes from Broadcastify.
Medic 14 has a crew member that's been stabbed.
29-year-old firefighter paramedic Graham Hoffman would die of his injuries. Police are holding 39-year-old Shanetta Bossel. She has no felonies on her record, but was arrested last week on charges of biting a police officer.
The community of Vancouver, Canada, continues to reel this morning after a weekend car ramming at a Filipino street festival left 11 dead, and dozen more injured. Here's Matt Gutman in Vancouver.
Eyewitnesses telling us they heard what sounded like explosions just after 8 p.m. Saturday.
I was cleaning up 2 minutes after that. I heard a big loud noise. Bang.
A black Audi SUV plowing through a crowd that had gathered in Vancouver to mark Lapu-Lapu Day, celebrating Filipino heritage. Thousands in attendance, Good Samaritans and first responders working to save the wounded. They were scattered all over the street.
The suspect is in custody. A motive into the ramming remains unknown, but the suspect does have a history of interacting with police due to mental health issues. That is the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, go to betterwater.com. You can listen to the show in a multiple variety of ways. We are on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. You can do the FM dial. You can also watch the show. We're live on Super Talk TV, which is on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and X. Hit like and subscribe. Hit share. No matter what platform you're on, it definitely will help out the show. The more likes, the more subscribes we get, the more people take us seriously. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, taking us seriously. Probably a good thing.
I hope it's a good thing.
I hope so. Mason had a weird visitor during the commercial break. What you were trying to do Facebook Marketplace during work?
I was trying to step up the operation. Some random guy showed up at the studio and was like, "Hey, look for Mason. I need a ladder." It's like,
wait, so a gentleman showed up looking for you for a ladder?
Yeah, looking for a ladder, and it like he was trying to buy one. Is the vibe I got from our guy from sales that brought up and talked to us about it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, "Well, you're the only Mason I know. I don't know who else it would be." I was like,
do you have a ladder side hustle going on?
Not that I know.
Is there good money in reselling ladders?
There might be. We talking about A-frame ladders, or are we talking about like the long lean?
Apparently, it's the only product without depreciation. It's unbelievable. They only go up in value.
Call it my step up business.
With these Trump tariffs, I need to get that ladder now. Lord knows. All right, so we're talking about...
are stealing all my ladders.
I know. We're talking about Judge Hannah Dugan, who she was arrested on Friday after just a stunning example of heroism as she led an illegal alien who beat 2 American citizens, 1 man, 1 woman, halfway to death. She let this illegal alien escape her courtroom through a back door to evade being picked up by ICE. Yep. I didn't miss anything. However, Democrats have been very, very upset. Democrats are saying that this was just performative by the Trump administration. They should have never done this. They only did this to send a message. And I just think to myself, like, well, yeah. Sometimes you need to send a message. And if we've learned anything about these activist Democrat judges over the last few months, messages need to be sent. And hopefully some of these Democrats are getting the message loud and clear so that way this kind of ridiculous behavior from the bench doesn't happen anymore. You're letting an illegal alien sneak out of your courtroom. And the Democrats, they're defending this. Former acting ICE director Jonathan Fahey was on Fox News, and he was talking about both of these judges. He was talking about Judge Hannah Dugan, who's in Milwaukee, who let that illegal alien evade ICE arrest and leave her courtroom through a back door. And he's also talking about Judge Joel Cano, who is the New Mexico judge who, well, he was running a little Airbnb operation for Tren de Aragua members. Well, and he was also letting them borrow his firearms. And he was also helping them destroy evidence. Other than that, they were upstanding citizens, and this judge shouldn't have anything happen to him. That's what the Democrats are going to go with. Former acting ICE director Jonathan Fahey on Fox News on these 2 judges being arrested.
It's not normal to have sitting judges harbor alleged Tren de Aragua gang members and give them access to guns, or for a Wisconsin judge to hear a domestic violence illegal alien case and then in front of the victim's family basically shield that illegal alien from ICE. Your reaction?
Yeah, Senator Klobuchar's reaction is really unconscionable because these actions of these judges are absolutely outrageous and lawless. This idea that the Democrats are in any way condoning this behavior is shocking to me because you have the New Mexico judge not only harboring a Tren de Aragua member who had firearms in the home, but he was destroying evidence, or at least alleged, by smashing cell phones to prevent the authorities from getting evidence. So it's absolutely outrageous, particularly for a judge and for the Democrats to be saying anything. And then the Wisconsin judge is even worse because she knew he was an illegal alien. And what's important, he was on charges for battery. He had also been deported before, so coming back, he was committing a federal felony. And she shepherds him out the door, and she's only facing 2 obstruction charges. But the other thing she has coming down the pike, I believe, is a federal alien harboring charge because she knew he was an illegal alien, and she was taking steps to shield him from detection. Absolutely outrageous. The fact that anyone would defend these judges is beyond me. I would think this would be 100% of everyone would say this is unacceptable regardless of your views on immigration.
Yeah, you would think that, yet that's not the reality of the situation. Now, he mentioned Amy Klobuchar's statement, Senator Amy Klobuchar. She posted on X, all right, so I'm going to do a dramatic representation. This is not normal. The administration's arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin is a drastic move that threatens the rule of law. While we don't have all the details, this is a grave step and undermines our system of checks and balances. She posted that on Friday at 12:41 in the afternoon. Amy Klobuchar, the same Amy Klobuchar who once famously said,
I will say in America, we know, as a great man once said, the law is king. The president isn't king. And I would add to that, the former president isn't king. Everyone has to follow the laws.
Everyone has to follow the laws, including judges, except when there's stunning displays of heroism, obviously, like Judge Hannah Dugan out of Wisconsin.
Obviously.
Thank you. So it's obvious. Obvious things are obvious, right?
Obviously.
Thank you. All right, hit it one more time because why not?
Obviously.
Thank you. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree was talking about Judge Dugan allegedly obstructing ICE, their arrest of an illegal alien who has been charged with domestic violence. This guy, not exactly impressed with the reaction that we're seeing from the left, but on the flip side, he completely understands why that judge had to be arrested.
Individual that she was doing her utmost, allegedly violating federal law to protect, is someone who does not seem to be deserving of sympathy. He's accused of very serious offensive battery, domestic violence. You have the actual victims in the courtroom. And I understand this judge is not a fan of the Trump administration's immigration enforcement policy, but to exercise her sympathy, going so far as to allegedly break federal law in favor of an individual like this, who by virtually all accounts poses a serious danger, is inexplicable to my mind.
Until you realize that they suffer from extreme cases of TDS. Orange man bad. Resist. We have to do something, anything. Now the leftists, they feel even more so that they have to stand up to this evil orange tyrant. You know, like now they really feel it in their bones. They feel it in the plums. They have to stand up to the orange tyrant, including one Wisconsin judge who is now, in an effort to stand in solidarity with Judge Hannah Dugan, this Wisconsin judge is refusing to hold court. Yep. A Wisconsin judge is vowing to shut down her courtroom in defiance after another judge was arrested for allegedly helping an illegal alien avoid federal agents. The Post-Millennial has a story. Judge Monica Isham, she sent an email to judges statewide in Wisconsin on Saturday that said she could refuse to hold court in Sawyer County unless she receives more support and guidance. I think the guidance here would just be, don't help illegal aliens evade ICE arrest. Like, I feel like that's a pretty simple guide. Like, this isn't overly complicated. Don't help out illegal aliens who have beaten women avoid ICE arrests. Well, what could they possibly mean by that? I don't know. It could mean anything. She needs more guidance and support. And her message titled, Guidance Requested or I Refuse to Hold Court. Isham wrote, if there is no guidance for us and no support for us, I will refuse to hold court in Branch 2 in Sawyer County. I will not put myself or my staff who may feel compelled to help me or my community in harm's way, according to a copy of this email obtained by Wisconsin Right Now. Isham made it clear that she wants nothing to do with working with ICE, and she continued, I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE and sent to a concentration camp, especially without due process, as both of the constitutions we swore to support require. Should I start raising bail money, she also said. If this costs me my job or gets me arrested, then at least I know I did the right thing. So stunning, so brave, and I would just have to say, good riddance. Don't hold court. And I don't think that anyone will miss another activist leftist judge. In fact, I think more activist leftist judges should stand in solidarity with Judge Hannah Dugan and refuse to go to work. Where are the rest of the brave activist judges who are going to do everything in their power to support Hannah Dugan and not show up at work? I think we need to support this, make it a little bit more nationwide. These judges should sit out. They should. Let's send a message and don't show up. By all means. Please. Her comments came after Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested last week. Again, Dugan faces charges of obstruction of an official proceeding, concealing of an individual to prevent discovery and arrest, and according to the criminal complaint, Dugan allegedly helped this illegal alien who was arrested on domestic abuse, beat up a woman, escape arrest after a court hearing. There's no guidance. There's no support. Says another Wisconsin judge. Nobody supports us when we're helping these criminals. Why not? We need more support. Okay. Hey, if that's what you want to do, there's a lot of senators that are now being asked about this, including one John Ossoff, Democrat out of Georgia. There was a town hall, and there was a shrieking leftist who was very upset about what happened in Judge Hannah Dugan's courtroom. And this shrieking leftist says to Senator John Ossoff, "Can we impeach Trump? We have to impeach Trump."
Why are there no calls for impeachment? This is unacceptable. I will not live in an authoritative country.
You hear the shrieking. I will not live in an authoritative country. A country that doesn't want illegal aliens who have no problem beating you up, lady, in this country. It's authoritative. If an illegal alien wants to beat up a woman, they should have the right to do so. Is that what she's getting at? So we have to impeach Trump over this? I guess we have to impeach Trump.
And neither will any of these people. You can do more. I like you, and I will vote for you if you are brave and you do what we need. We need him impeached. We need him removed.
There is no doubt that this president's conduct has already exceeded any prior standard for impeachment by the United States House of Representatives.
This is Senator John Ossoff at a town hall, mind you.
I agree with you.
Huh?
But as I said at the beginning, I also have no choice but to be candid with you about the situation that we face and the tools that are at our disposal. As strongly as I agree with you, ma'am. And I regret if this is an unwelcome response, but my job is to be honest with you. The only way to achieve what you want to achieve is to have a majority in the United States House of Representatives.
Yeah. We can't impeach him unless we have the numbers. All shrieking aside, ma'am, all shrieking aside, we can't impeach Trump unless we have the numbers. Let's make no mistake about it. Midterms are circled on the Democrats' calendar. Midterms also need to be circled on our calendar. We need to be keeping our foot on the gas and flooring it right now. This week is going to mark 100 days of Donald Trump in office. Midterms are going to be here before we know it. We need to maintain power for this Trump administration. We have to. Because as you can already hear, the shrieking Democrats, they want to hamper this administration with more impeachment proceedings. Get ready. If we don't win in 2026, if we don't maintain control after these midterms, get ready for impeachment proceedings. This shrieking leftist is saying what many shrieking leftists are thinking. We have to get Trump out by any means necessary. John Ossoff said, well, I got to be honest with you. And it's my job to be honest. We can't do it unless we win in the midterms, unless we get the numbers. Let's make sure that they don't. It's not just John Ossoff. Chuck Schumer was asked over the weekend if impeaching Trump would be a top priority should the Democrats regain power in the House and the Senate come the midterms. And Chuck Schumer, well, he said, yes, we have to think about impeaching Donald Trump because orange man bad.
Your colleague from Georgia, Senator John Ossoff, told voters at a town hall that he strongly agrees that President Trump should be impeached. Do you agree with him? Would that be a priority if Democrats were to take back Congress?
Well, look, right now, President Trump is violating rule of law in every way. And we're fighting him every single day in every way.
He's violating the law in every single way, so we have to fight him every single way. And you know how often they do that? Every day.
And our goal is to show the American people over and over again, whether it's the economy, whether it's tariffs, whether it's Russia and overseas, and whether it's rule of law, how bad he is. And, it's 2 years is too far away to predict. Our job is day to day to day to show who Trump is, what he is doing, and it's having an effect, as your poll showed. The American people are realizing.
You're not saying no.
Look, it's too far away to even judge.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not saying no, though, because that's all part of the plan, right? Like, that's baked into the cake if the Democrats win in the midterms. It's going to be here before we know it. Let's keep our foot on the gas. It's 1021 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Spring is here, and Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling bringing you the savings. Right now, you can save some serious money on some real deal rebates, like $800 back on a mini split or 17-SEER heat pump, $500 back on a 15 or 16-SEER heat pump, $300 back for duct sealing or repair, and $50 back for each tune-up you schedule. Now, here's the move, okay? I'm gonna give you some inside baseball. When you sign up for the Beehive Club, you get 3 annual tune-ups. If you're tracking this, you get a $50 rebate for each tune-up you schedule. The Beehive Club membership is $99. Are you following me? You get your spring tune-up, you get your fall tune-up. The Beehive Club membership pays for itself, and it comes with so much value. 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off our repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, no overtime or holiday fees, and a $100 annual accrued replacement credit worth a maximum of $1,000. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call them today. Join the Beehive Club, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
A reported ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine war. The investigation continues in Vancouver in the deadly attack there, and hundreds losing their jobs here in Tennessee. We'll have those stories and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jay Harper. It is 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having the best day and had a great weekend as well. And in case you missed it, there's a new word of the week. The Democrats rolled this one out. This is, what was it last week? The word of the week was chaos.
Yes, sir.
It was chaos.
Yeah, chaos.
Chaos. That's been retired.
Oh, so
they put a lot of mileage on it, and they had to figure something else out.
I'm surprised they didn't vote it outright and elect their own.
Honestly, so they've come up with a new phrase. You ready? You ready for this one? What the word of the week is? The word of the week, my friends. Escalation.
We begin tonight with the escalation in the president's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a major escalation in the Trump administration's deportation efforts.
And what is a major escalation in the battle here in D.C. over immigration and deportation.
This feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration arresting a judge. I will tell you, you are not alone.
Is a dramatic escalation.
More aggressive moves, more escalation.
Trump's escalation of his migrant purge.
This kind of escalatory action.
This is a dramatic escalation.
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 We've seen an escalation.
Escalation, my friends. That's the word of the week. It's escalation. Now, I tend to think, and maybe this is just me, I think that they had a completely different game plan heading into the weekend before the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. I think before the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan, they were going to be heading into this week trying to change the narrative away from Kilmar Abrego Garcia and towards the Trump administration deporting, wait for it, 2-year-olds. See, this was another major talking point all weekend long, and it may have gone missed if you weren't paying close attention because it didn't get as much coverage as one would have thought had the Judge Hannah Dugan situation not began. But this is another narrative that you need to keep your eye on. Trump is deporting 2-year-olds. We'll break it all down, why it's a lie, and what the reality is behind the situation when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll have a weather forecast for you coming up shortly. Reuters is reporting that Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday declared a 3-day ceasefire in the war with Ukraine next month to mark the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union and its allies in World War II. The Kremlin said the 72-hour ceasefire would run from the start of May 8th to the end of May 10th, and Russia called on Ukraine to join it as well. In the event of violations by the Ukrainian side, Russia's armed forces would give an adequate and effective response. That's a quote. That's according to the Russian statement. Canadian officials working around the clock to determine the motive into a deadly car ramming at a Filipino heritage festival in Vancouver over the weekend. ABC's Matt Goodman is in Vancouver.
11 people between the ages of 5 and 65 were killed and dozens more injured. Overnight, authorities identifying the suspect as 30-year-old Kaiji Adam Lowe. Authorities are not discussing a motive, but police say they've had several previous interactions with the suspect because of his mental health struggles. Authorities charging the suspect with 8 counts of second-degree murder.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, over 400 workers will be losing their jobs after an automotive seating manufacturer announced the permanent closure of 2 facilities in Tennessee. According to WARN notices filed with the State Department of Labor and Workforce Development, Adiant facilities in Murray and Henderson counties will be permanently closed this summer. The notices were posted on April 22nd and 23rd. Both facilities will be permanently closed on June 27th. That's the latest news. Weather's on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friend Jason Whitlock to tell you about an event that's coming to Nashville May 2nd and May 3rd. Jeez, it's the end of this week already. That's crazy. Roll Call 3.0 is going to be here this weekend, and I'm so excited about this event. It's going to be very, very cool. Join Jason Whitlock and Tucker Carlson in Nashville May 2nd and 3rd for Roll Call 3.0. Ultimate gathering for bold, faith-driven men to stand firm in today's culture war. So it kicks off Friday night, 3rd and Lindsley, with an exclusive VIP event, Whitlock and Tucker, and a no-holds-barred conversation. Saturday, they move over to Rocketown, where you can get some real-world information on how to battle the culture war from hard-hitting speakers like Pastor Alan Jackson, Doug Wilson, Corey Brooks, and more. And if you want to meet Tucker Carlson face-to-face, well, you can do that. You can make it happen. Premium all-access passes are still available, though that number is shrinking fast. Tickets start at just $99. You can get them half off when you use promo code 997. And you want to use that. You want to use it soon. This event is going to sell out. Lock in your tickets now, fearlessrollcall.com. Promo code 997 for 50% off. Speak up, step out, be fearless, fearlessrollcall.com.
From the Beacon Capital Management Weather Center.
Thirty-five minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So, do you know what the Trump administration is doing on the White House North Lawn to celebrate their 100 days in office? We're going to actually see it when Monica Page joins us on Friday. Monica Page, our White House reporter, she joins us live from the North Lawn of the White House every Friday. And she's on video, so she's on Super Talk TV. So what they're doing is, you know how where she does her press hit?
Yeah.
So you can see the White House behind them. Every reporter does their press hits right along that walkway. Okay.
Yeah.
So what they've done is, behind those reporters, they've set up a bunch of signs with the pictures of the illegal aliens they've arrested and deported. So like it's awesome for us, like, right? Like, the visual is really cool for a conservative outlet. But for these leftist outlets that also have to do their media hits there, they're very upset that the White House has put in these, like yard signs.
Yeah.
You know, like if you got like a good roofing company, you put that yard sign in, that's what it looks like, of all these illegal aliens. MSNBC was melting down about this morning.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You could see them there. They put
and underneath them, I mean, so if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see the visual along the White House North Lawn of all these signs. But underneath all these signs, it'll say arrested. It'll have a picture of the individual. and then it has the crime that they were arrested for. So, I mean, just looking at it quickly, I see sexual assault of a child, sexual battery on a child, sexual assault, murder, sexual assault of a child, and on it goes. You understand why this is upsetting to your average leftist reporter.
Put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn.
Oh, so sad. All these leftists are going to be exposed for all the news stories that they don't cover. Weird.
Therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here.
Oh, they're so upset. So, yeah, when Monica Page joins the show on Friday and you watch us on Super Talk TV, you'll be able to see some of those signs behind her. Maybe I wonder if she could pull one out for us and bring it over to the camera and show it.
That would be huge.
Do you think there's, like, protocol against that?
Probably.
I bet you there's protocol for everything.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll put her on the spot while we're doing our interview and be like, go grab one of those signs and run it over to the camera.
Yeah, I just saw on her Instagram page that she was showing off all the signs she was running through to show everybody all of the charges for all of them. It was pretty cool.
I mean, it's wild that they put these signs up. I do honestly love it. I wonder if she posted that video on X as well, running through all the crimes. Yep, there it is. So this is our friend Monica Page detailing all the signs that are now on the White House front, the White House North Lawn. I think they surround all sides of the White House. But the important thing to note is when MSNBC and CNN does a hit here, when Caitlin Collins over at CNN is doing her live hit from the White House, these are going to be in the background. And you can see sign after sign after sign: rape, sexual assault of a child, rape, murder, sexual contact with a child, MS-13 member and homicide, murder, homicide, child sexual abuse, rape and sodomy of a child. These are not good people, yet these are the people that the leftists and the Democrats continue to defend over and over and over again. And so the White House says, well, if you don't want to cover these stories on your network, spoiler alert, you're now going to have them on your network whether you like it or not, because they're going to be right behind you while you're doing these media hits. Good. We're seeing the left melt down bigly. So the Democrats, I do believe, before the arrest of Judge Judge Hannah Dugan, they were going to launch a new narrative. And the new narrative was going to be that the Trump administration is deporting 2-year-olds. Yep. They're deporting 2-year-olds. Have you heard this? If you blinked, you might have missed it on the weekend shows. They were very much more ready to cover the heroism of Judge Hannah Dugan, who helped that wife-beating illegal alien escape from her courtroom. But now, one of the new narratives that we're going to see, and I think we're going to see this develop over the week, is the Trump administration is deporting 2-year-olds, except for the fact that they're not. They deported the mom, who was here illegally. The children were American citizens. You understand how the anchor baby dynamics work. I don't have to break that down for you. We all understand. So the dad is an American citizen. The mom is an illegal alien. Where do the kids go? Well, they're trying to say that the Trump administration has deported these kids, but that's not the case. What happened was mom decided the kids are coming with me. And I'm not knocking mom for deciding that. Like, honestly, I respect that. That's what a good mom would do. I'm not going to leave my kids behind. Are you crazy? They're coming home with me. Totally understand. And those kids, for the record, I mean, we can debate to high heaven the anchor baby stuff and the birthright citizenship stuff. I think you understand where I stand on it. Not a fan, not a huge fan. But for right now, the way it's laid out, those kids are American citizens, and they would be welcomed back into this country one day should they decide to return. But for right now, mom decided they got to come with them. The media is trying to portray this as the evil Trump administration deporting 2-year-olds. And before the Trump administration even kicked off, how many times did I say, wait for it, they're going to have a crying 2-year-old, a crying little kid on TV who they're saying is being deported. And I was waiting for this narrative from the media. It's so predictable. They're trying to push it now. Yet while they try to push it, they have guys like Tom Homan join them on CBS Face the Nation, who can just essentially shut down the narrative in real time.
On Friday, a federal judge who was appointed by President Trump said a 2-year-old American citizen child had been sent to Honduras with the mother who was deported. But the judge said, quote, there was no meaningful process. So again, this is another similar situation and dynamic. Shouldn't there be special care when these deportation cases involve small American-born children?
Oh, shouldn't there be special rules? If the mom has an anchor baby, shouldn't she be allowed to stay? That's what they're getting at, right? Like that's what they want. They want all of these people to become citizens and become Democrat voters. We understand that. Shouldn't there be a special bit of process, Mr. Homan? Don't you have a heart? I mean, you see what she's getting at, right? Like you understand the framing here. The Trump administration's full of tyrants and monsters who kick 2-year-olds out of our country. Your response, Mr. Homan?
Well, first of all, I disagree with the judge. There was due process. That female had due process at great taxpayer expense and was ordered by the immigration judge after those hearings. So she had due process. Again, this is parenting 101. You can decide to take that child with you, or you can decide to leave the child here with a relative or another spouse. Having a U.S. citizen child doesn't make you immune from our laws of the country. American families get separated every day by law enforcement. Thousands of times a day when a parent gets put in jail, the child can't go with them. If you're an illegal alien, come to this country, and you decide to have a U.S. citizen child, that's on you. You put yourself in that position.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's so simple. A 5-year-old could do it, right? Like this is very easy stuff. The media wants to frame it very emotionally because most of their voters, that's how they process information, emotionally. I'm sorry. This child could have stayed with an aunt or an uncle or the dad, but mom wanted to bring the child with her. And I'm not knocking mom. In fact, I respect that. I do. But the mom had due process. The mom was an illegal alien. The mom was told to leave. The child didn't do anything. There's no due process there for the child. The child then is told by the mom, we're leaving, you're coming with me. That's how it works with kids.
When it came to this particular case, you just pointed out that they could have made arrangements. The father tried, actually, to make arrangements, as we understand it through our reporting. But he and the mother, who were separated since she was in detention after showing up for her appointment, was only allowed a very brief phone call. The father tried to petition to get the child handed over to an American citizen relative. So the mother had to make this decision and took the child with her. It just seems
as any good mother would.
Like there could be some more time frame here around due process allowed. That's what the judge is saying there should have been more of a process here.
There was due process. The 2-year-old baby was left with the mother because the mother signed a document requesting her 2-year-old baby go with her. That's the parent's decision. I don't think the judge knows specifics of this case. 2-year-old went with the mom. The mom signed a paper saying, I want my 2-year-old to go with me. That's a parent's decision. It's not a government decision. It's a parent's decision.
Yet they're trying to make it seem like the Trump administration's evil. Get ready. This is going to be a dominating narrative. We're going to see this over and over and over again. And we did. We saw it a few times over the weekend. They brought it up to Tom Homan on what is this, Face the Nation on CBS. And then they brought it up to Marco Rubio on Meet the Press. And it's just like the same story again. Oh, you deported a 2-year-old. How could you do this? You guys understand that you're monsters, right? This 2-year-old shouldn't have been deported. This is the argument that they're going to make. There's no way that a 2-year-old should have been deported. The 2-year-old went with the mom. The mom signed a piece of paper saying, I want my 2-year-old with me. Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So NBC, Meet the Press, they had Marco Rubio on, and Kristen Welker went after Marco Rubio on this same topic, and Rubio wasn't having it one bit.
Audience, 3 U.S. citizen children have been deported with their mothers. Now, this is according to the Washington Post. The family's lawyer says one of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer, deported without medication or ability to contact doctors. The family's lawyers are also saying their clients were denied communication with family and legal representatives before being deported, and it's raising concerns about the issue of due process, that it's being violated. So let me ask you, is everyone on U.S. soil, citizens and non-citizens, entitled to due process?
I just love the framing. There's a 4-year-old with cancer. How could you do this, Trump administration? Do you have no hearts? The mom said that the child could go with her. That they had opportunities. But the child has cancer. I'm sorry. Like, that sucks. It's heartbreaking. They have doctors in Mexico too, you know. They have doctors lots of other places. I'm sorry. Like, is it heartless that I'm not going to let myself be emotionally manipulated by these different circumstances and the individual circumstances of every illegal alien that is being removed from this country? Are some of these circumstances going to be sad? And yeah, they are. They are. We still need to get the majority of these people out of here. The overwhelming majority of these people. And if they have American citizen children and they want to bring those kids with them, so be it.
Yes, of course. But let me tell you, it looks an immigration standing, the laws are very specific. If you're in this country unlawfully, you have no right to be here and you must be removed. That's what the law says. Yep. Somehow over the last 20 years, we've completely lost this notion that somehow or completely adopted this idea that, yes, we have immigration laws, but once you come into our country illegally, it triggers all kinds of rights that can keep you here indefinitely. That's why we were being flooded at the border. Yep. And we've ended that, and that's why you see a historically low number of people not just trying to cross our border, trying to cross the border into Panama, all the way down in the Darien Gap. I mean, it's been a huge help for those countries as well. On the headline, that's a misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers.
Thank you. Yeah, misleading, to say the least. Downright false, I would say, is probably more accurate. Emotionally manipulative is far more accurate. American citizens 2, 4, 7 being deported. The 4-year-old had cancer. Oh, my gosh. Again, I'm sorry. Sorry. But the mom was an illegal alien. And the mom wanted to bring the child with her. That's not Trump's fault. It's not Rubio's fault. That's not Homan's fault. It goes back to the parents. It goes back to the parents.
Mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading. Yeah. That's just not true.
Just to be clear, because I do want to get to the overhaul at the State Department, is it the U.S. policy to deport children, even U.S. citizens, with their families, and I hear what you're saying, without due process?
Again, the kids weren't deported. The mothers were deported, and the mothers said, no. The kids are coming with me. Those are my kids. The American citizens weren't deported. They left with their mom. The framing of this is so off.
Just to be very clear there.
Well, no. Again, if someone's in this country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then you have 2 choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States. Yeah. They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go.
Thank you. Listen, again, Rubio just nails it. Hits it out of the park. Listen, your headlines today are that we deported a 2, 4, and 7-year-old American citizen. But if we said that the kids were going to stay, the headlines would have read, you're holding hostages a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old after deporting their mother. Like, yes, that's exactly how this media works. It doesn't matter what happens. Their framing is going to be anti-Trump, orange man bad every single time. It's 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, the White House this week marking 100 days of President Trump's second term, and things may be looking up for home buyers this spring. We've got these stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver back in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I just got a text over here on the super text line. Said, I love that you guys are playing clips now on the stream. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, during this show, anytime you hear audio on your radio, we'll also have the video to accompany it. Sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes,
for sure.
Sometimes it's a grown man digging in his rear end and wiping it on a Tesla. So it's a mixed bag. Other times it's just Rubio in a tie.
We bring you all the news.
It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. We appreciate you watching us on the stream. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share, no matter what platform you're on. It helps us out. We appreciate it when you do so. We got a lot more to cover. The Department of Homeland Security has fact-checked a New York Times sob story. We've been talking about this new narrative that the Democrats are pushing. Did you know that the Trump administration is deporting 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 7-year-old American citizens? Yeah. Well, they're also debunking in real time other sob stories. This one comes from the New York Times, the failing New York Times. They posted this story, the New York Times did, and the title was 21 years later, deported back to a home he barely knew. And it's so sad. Oh man, been here for 21 years. And you're now being deported. It's heartbreaking. You're one of those. Are you one of those dreamers? Are you one of the? He must be a dreamer. He must be looking for a better life. Except for the fact that the New York Times conveniently glossed over a fact that this illegal alien, Nascimento Blair, is a convicted kidnapper and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Huh. I mean, that's just minor detail, right? Like nothing. You wouldn't lead with that, would you? Not if you're the failing New York Times. Of course not. We got a lot more on the way, a lot more to cover, including the Trump economy and how the press covers it. We'll talk about that when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
– 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a crash with the right lane blocked 24 eastbound right before 440. And the full forecast coming up here in 5 minutes. Well, the White House this week marking 100 days of President Trump's second term. The president expected to sign 2 new executive orders later today.
The first one is aimed at strengthening the ability of law enforcement in the United States to, as Caroline Levitt put it, pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. The second executive order is going to direct the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that they say are obstructing enforcement of federal immigration laws. They're going after what they call sanctuary cities.
Tom Homan, the border czar, says they're very pleased so far with their efforts on deportations.
If you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing. Catch and release is over.
Holman said at a briefing they have had 139,000 deportations so far, says he's happy with that number and that the effort is ongoing. A Kansas City woman is held on charges of fatally stabbing a first responder.
It was a routine medical call about a person with an injured finger. The patient was loaded into an ambulance, and within minutes, the driver made a frantic call for help. The audio comes from Broadcastify.
Medic 14 has a crew member that's been stabbed.
29-year-old firefighter paramedic Graham Hoffman would die of his injuries. Police are holding 39-year-old Shanetta Bossel. She has no felonies on her record, but was arrested last week on charges of biting a police officer. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Well, things may be looking up for home buyers this spring. Mortgage rates are more than double what they were in 2021, and yet realtors say more sellers are listing, giving buyers more options. The National Association of Realtors says the number of homes for sale increased almost 20% last month from a year ago, and here's a change. 44% of home purchases now involve some concessions from the seller according to Redfin. The big question is always if and when the Fed will lower interest rates. In Nashville, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate is currently around 6.858%. That has recently decreased slightly, indicating a potential downward trend in current mortgage rates here in Nashville. And a date now set for the conclave.
The most diverse conclave there has ever been because Francis chose cardinals from all four corners of the earth. So May 7th, the conclave will take place in the Sistine Chapel. They will be sequestered, cut off from the outside world. There'll be 4 votes, up to 4 votes every day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. When they haven't yet made a decision and they burn those ballots, the smoke from that will be black. But when it turns white, we'll know that they've found someone with a 2/3 majority, and then we will have a new pope. James Longman, ABC News in Rome.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I do appreciate it when you do. Mason Fleming is producing. Ken Weaver is in the newsroom, and I do tend to think that I have the best team here on the radio station. I mean,
checks in the mail, brother Chris.
Listen. And most of the day we get Joan. So, no, I love you guys. And I love you guys listening. Appreciate it. However you are maybe listening or watching. We're on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app, the FM dial. If you're watching us over on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, you'll see the video for every piece of audio you hear on your radio. It's a little added bonus and a little incentive to watch on the stream. So we hear a lot about the Trump economy. We hear a lot about how it's in a tailspin, how things are terrible. They're so awful. How can we ever recover? Yet then at the same time, we hear announcements of massive investments in the American economy. So is this a good thing or is this a bad thing, right? Like if you listen to the leftist media, we're out of control, we're barreling towards a recession. But then if you just tune your ears to anything else, you hear stories like this: $150 billion investment from IBM.
Tariffs of Invest in America, Jim. I know you saw the IBM announcement. They're saying they're unveiling a $150 billion investment in America to accelerate technology opportunity. That's over a period of 5 years. More than $30 billion, they're saying, in research and development to advance American manufacturing for mainframe and quantum computers.
So is that good? Is that a good thing? I mean, we hear all these stories about America onshoring, more manufacturing. You know, the stuff that Obama used to say you'd need a magic wand for, Donald Trump is already doing, and it's only been 100 days, not even. Yet we hear the leftist media and the way that they attack this, and they say Trump is ruining everything. Yet you can listen to other voices who say, no, this is exactly what needs to be happening. Trump is rebuilding the economy from the ground up. This is Dave Bratt, former congressman, on Real America's Voice.
You can play all you want news about the Wall Street and the stock market and the equities and whatever, and it's all just noise, right? It's, you know, I don't want to make light of anyone's portfolio, but it's just noise in comparison with the fundamentals that Trump is shifting around. He's shifting around the entire world geopolitical architecture. He's shifting around the United States of America macro economy. He's changing it all. He's giving your kids a shot at a home again. He's giving your kids a shot at a real education again.
Amen.
This is all just huge. I couldn't be more proud. The folks that don't get what's going on just don't get what's going on. But please don't blame it on Trump. He's doing a Herculean lift. Put some gas on the Congress and on the Senate. Light them up and tell them all they better put this stuff in statute, in law. Right, because we're fed up, and if they won't do it, then you need to turf them out because they're not following what's best for the American people either.
But Donald Trump is, and Donald Trump is trying to bring jobs back, manufacturing back, and at the same time, he's been lowering a lot of prices. Inflation has been going down, down, down. Reince Priebus was talking about this on ABC, the first 100 days of Donald J. Trump and what he's actually accomplished.
Inflation is down, rates are down, gas prices are down. I think what you're going to see, and I think what was revealing in Scott Bessent's interview, is the next 100 days, which is the rebuilding 100 days, which is cutting deals on the tariffs, which is calming people down as far as where we're going in the economy, the tax cuts that are probably likely coming to the economy. I think the one thing you can say about President Trump is that he's doing exactly with what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, listen, this was all laid out on the campaign trail, and I know people are saying, look at the new numbers, Trump's numbers on the economy. Everybody's kind of nervous. Everybody's worried. This is what he said he was going to do. This is what he said he was going to do. Why are we shocked? I mean, are we supposed to be surprised? Are we supposed to? When energy prices are going down, when inflation is going down, are we going to be outraged? That's what the left wants from us. They want us outraged. They want us upset, and they want us panicked. But I don't tend to buy it. I don't. Scott Jennings was talking about this on Friday night over on CNN.
Yeah, of course. Look, the economy and how people feel about the trajectory of their own personal financial situation and their own lives, it affects every presidency. I mean, the last president lost, his party lost the White House largely because people were unhappy about the economy. There's nothing new there. I think what President Trump is doing, though, is asking for a little bit of patience from the American people as he installs a new way to think about how we operate our economy in the United States and how we operate our trade around the world. And he inherited a mess, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. So he's not on the ballot today, and the Republicans also in the Congress have their part to do as well, which is make the tax cuts permanent, codify some of his executive orders into law as it relates to energy and other matters. So there's a lot more work to be done, and I think what the White House believes is once the work is completely done and once you give it a chance to work, things are going to start looking up for people and the numbers will improve. I don't sense a lot of panic at the White House over it right now because the president is so confident in his plan and that it will work for the American people.
Now, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, as Scott Jennings is breaking all that down, you'll see across the lower third chyron on the CNN the CNN chyron, it says Fox News poll, just 32% say Trump's policies are helping economy. Do you think Donald Trump is nervous about the polls? Do you think Donald Trump is stressing over these poll numbers? I doubt it. I tend to think it's more what Scott Jennings is saying. Listen, he's just going to go. This is part of the plan. He's going to take a deep breath. The American people should take a deep breath because they knew that this is how it was going to go. They knew it was going to be an uphill battle, not just against the Democrats, but against the media. And Scott Bessent, which Ryan Priebus referenced this interview, Scott Bessent was over on ABC this week with one Martha Raddatz, and he said a lot of this panic, a lot of the fear mongering that we're seeing around the economy right now. Scott Bessent called it straight out. He said this is media driven. What you're hearing, the panic and the outrage and the fear over the economy is media driven.
When I look at some of the things that are being published, there was a story 10 days ago that said this is the worst April for the stock market since the Great Depression. 10 days later, the NASDAQ is now up on the month of April, and I haven't seen a story that says, stock market has biggest bounce back ever.
No, of course not. Why would you see that story? You see, the media, they're the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. The media, they might issue a correction, but it'll be on, buried deep in the paper. That's not going to be page one stuff. So when the media says that this is the worst April for the stock market since the Great Depression, and then it bounces back, no, you can't expect the media to cover that side of the story. No, obviously not.
When I look at some of the things that are being published, there was a story 10 days ago that said this is the worst April for the stock market since the Great Depression. 10 days later, the NASDAQ is now up on the month of April, and I haven't seen a story that says, stock market has biggest bounce back ever. So
it certainly has gone back and forth.
I think a lot of this is media driven.
He's right. A lot of this is media driven. It's just the truth. It's just the facts of the matter. And I love that he called out the media. The media deserves to be called out. This is the same media who's calling Judge Hannah Dugan, who helped an illegal alien escape her courtroom and evade ICE, a hero. This is the same media who's saying that the Trump administration is deporting 2-year-old American citizens. This is the same media who said Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a dear old Maryland dad and deserved to be returned to this country when he himself was an MS-13 gang member and beat his wife. Details. This is that media. This is the same media who over the weekend celebrated themselves. They did. Why not? Why miss an opportunity to celebrate yourself? And at the White House Correspondents' Award dinner over the weekend, they actually gave an award out to Alex Thompson, because Alex Thompson over at Axios, he had some reporting on Biden's cognitive decline, and it was during this White House Correspondents' dinner that Kristen Welker from NBC's Meet the Press talked about how brave and stunning that reporting on Joe Biden's cognitive decline was.
Impartiality, integrity, and a deep knowledge of the presidency. The award also includes a prize of $2,500. This year's award goes to Alex Thompson of Axios. The judges said Thompson's aggressive reporting on President Biden, especially leading up to and after the Trump-Biden debate, revealed the president's cognitive decline was impacting his ability to do his job, information the White House tried to conceal.
So this guy wins $2,500 for breaking this story that we were talking about for years, it feels like, here on WTN. I got 4 kids that want to go to summer camp. I could have used that prize money. I guarantee you I broke that story before this knucklehead from Axios broke it. But hey, it's a room of liberal reporters. Congratulations, Alex. You did it. Unbelievable.
Ladies and gentlemen, the White House Correspondents Association is pleased to give the Aldo Beckman Award to Alex Thompson.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know who Aldo Beckman is, but I'm sure he's disappointed that his name is tied to that award. It's just, I don't know who you are, but I know that this is probably a disappointment. So then Axios' Alex Thompson gets up there, and, you know, he's got to do his victory lap, and he's got to let everybody know. This is the same media that Scott Bessent said, you know, the outrage, the fear, the chaos around the stock market and the economy is media-driven. The same media is now patting themselves on the back for breaking the story of Joe Biden's cognitive decline, because nobody had heard that anywhere before, right? Wasn't it Karine Jean-Pierre who told us it was cheap fakes when we were doing that audio? We would play all the clips of Joe Biden cognitively declining, and she would tell us it was cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes.
Remember that? I remember that.
Cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes. Cheapfakes.com.
Cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes. So Alex Thompson from Axios, he's very proud of himself. He won a major award. This is a major award, he says, and he's very, very, very happy about it. But he also wants to point a finger at the rest of the media for missing a lot of this story.
President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception. But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story. And some people trust us less because of it.
Ah, yes. Some people trust us less because of it. How is it that they missed that story? Or were they just not looking for it? I mean, I think that's the real question here. Axios, Alex Thompson, he gets up there. We missed the story. I don't know how we missed it, but somehow it eluded us. This massive story about the cognitive decline of Joe Biden somehow, one way or another, slipped right through our fingers.
Beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer. My memory is fine. The president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate. A solid meeting with the Mitterrand from from France looked at me and said, I'm going to be a president for everybody, whether you live in a red state or a green state. Anyway, I don't want
do you remember that one, the death rattle? Anyway, how could anybody have missed this story?
Just right under our noses.
Ah, man.
Anyway, I don't want to. I'm making Roe v. Word. The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah.
How'd we miss this?
$159 billion left. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
That's the best one.
I was going to what am I doing here?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And nobody knows how the media missed this story. So I just say that to say this. When Scott Bessent looks at you, and he's on, was it Meet the Press? Or no, he's on ABC This Week with Martha Raddatz. And he says, a lot of this hysteria around the economy is media-driven. Just know he's telling the truth. The media can drive the narrative and they can hide the narrative. And what we've seen is examples of both. It's 11:21 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're living with back pain, knee pain, nerve pain, have you ever thought about just not living with that pain? You see, here's the deal. The Wellness Institute of Nashville can help you get back to a pain-free life, and they can do it without the surgery, and they can do it without the drugs. They have this state-of-the-art spinal decompression, a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and nerves naturally. Now, Dr. Mitchell, he's trained all over the world. Dr. Ashley, expert in holistic healing and advanced chiropractic care. So whether it's sciatica, neuropathy, herniated discs, they've got real solutions. Right now, for a limited time, you can get the Big 47 deal. That'll get you 47% off their natural spinal decompression. All you have to do is not waste another day in pain and give them a call right now. 615-246-5009. It's the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and they want to get you back to a pain-free life. 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. Painisbad.com.
Hundreds of jobs going away in Tennessee, some of them here in Middle Tennessee. We've got that and other top stories coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. This is a big story that I thought we had to at least cover a little bit. There's one Epstein victim that I think everybody knows. Virginia Giuffre. Is it Giuffre or Giuffre? I think it's Giuffre.
Giuffre.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Checks in the mail. This happened over the weekend, which is just wild. Jeffrey Epstein accuser, Virginia Giuffre. Okay, so she's the one that had the explosive allegations against Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton. This is one of the people that broke the lid off of the Epstein scandal. She has died, and she has died by apparent suicide. Now, I don't know about you, but anytime an Epstein victim dies by suicide, well, let's consider the almonds activated, because I did happen to see this picture over on the X machine, and it was a tweet from Virginia Giuffre, who once said, "I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted." Yet we hear over the weekend that she has passed away via suicide. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit suspicious. I have some questions. Her family released a statement on her passing saying, "It is with utterly broken hearts that we announced Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking." Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors. In the end, the toll of the abuse was so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weights. Now, could that be the case? Yes, absolutely. And I don't want to get into her mental state. I don't think that I could get into her mental state after going through what she's gone through. But I'm a little suspicious. Again, I go back to this statement that she posted on X herself some years ago. I am in no way, shape, or form suicidal. Could things change over the years? Absolutely. If this wasn't tied to Epstein, would I be as suspicious? Probably not. But it is tied to Epstein. And it was her testimony that led to the conviction of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And you have to wonder what happened. You have to. So she moved to Australia ahead of Epstein's arrest in 2019. The lawsuit that she had with Prince Andrew was settled in 2022. She had accused Prince Andrew of raping her when she was 17 years old and said that Epstein had arranged those meetings. The amount that Prince Andrew was made to pay Giuffre was undisclosed. Prince Andrew said at the time that he'd given a large donation to a charity of her choice. He did not stipulate to any of the allegations that Giuffre brought against him. Prince Andrew said at the time that it was known that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked countless young girls over the many years, and he regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Miss Giuffre and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others. He was then stripped of his royal and military ties. Now, when a portion of the Epstein documents were released by the Trump administration in January 2024, depositions of Giuffre was made public. Details of her testimony regarding encounters with Epstein and his alleged clients were revealed, along with those from another Epstein victim, Johanna Schoberg. Now, is this just a suicide? It very well could be. Am I suspicious? Overwhelmingly suspicious. Oh, unbelievably suspicious. But it's just a bit of news to keep your ears on, and should any updates become available, we will bring them to you. There are countless internet sleuths working on this one, and I'm just sitting over here still waiting for those Epstein documents from this Trump administration. Now, will they get here at a certain point? Maybe. I lose hope every day that goes by. I have heard some internet rumors where people are saying, they're waiting for the midterms. You don't want to let this one out early. And maybe that's the case. But do you think if you released them now, people would forget come the midterms? I certainly don't. But Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre, dead in an apparent suicide in Australia. Wild story. It's 11:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a crash blocking the right shoulder 24 eastbound right before 440. And then in Rutherford County, had a vehicle fire. That's off on the right shoulder 24 eastbound right before Joe B. Jackson Parkway. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Tell you about the risk for severe weather tomorrow evening here in Middle Tennessee. Right now in Middle Tennessee, bad news for Murray County. More than 400 jobs are going away, but not just in Murray County, also Henderson County. Channel 4 says automotive seating manufacturer Adent Facilities announcing the permanent closure in June. The White House this week marking 100 days of President Trump's second term today, touting its cracking down on illegal immigration. Border Czar Tom Homan says they've conducted at least 139,000 deportations so far.
You can sit aside and watch. You can argue against us all you want and protest all you want. But when you cross that line, I've said this 1,000 times, when you cross that line to impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted. Judge or not.
President expected to sign 2 new executive orders later today on illegal immigration. Society of American Florists now worried about tariffs.
This is Jim Ryan with proms, weddings, and Mother's Day looming.
The timing of the year makes it extra stressful because I already have so much to worry about.
Says Austin florist Kaylee Presby Gaines, who says she has no choice but to pass on the new tariffs to her customers. 85% of flowers sold in the U.S. are grown abroad, with the top suppliers being Colombia, Ecuador, Canada, and Mexico. Floral imports from some of those countries now face a 10 to 18% tariff.
And meet the NFL's heaviest player in history.
Heavy, but boy can he move. Desmond Watson stands 6'6", tips the scale at 464 pounds. He didn't get picked in the NFL draft, but did get signed with his hometown Tampa Bay Buccaneers, undrafted free agent. His massiveness is noteworthy because of how fast he is, running the 40-yard dash in less than 6 seconds. His vertical jump, 25 inches. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Love those guys. If you need a water filtration system, betterwater.com. So I wanted to talk about the visit to pay respects to the Pope that Trump made over the weekend and the subsequent conversations that were had during that weekend in Rome, in the Vatican. But right as I'm about to do that, we're about to get back on the air. Remember how we talked earlier that for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, they're celebrating. They put these signs in the White House North Lawn with the pictures of illegal alien criminals that have been deported. And underneath the pictures, it's the crime that they committed that got them deported.
Right to jail.
Honestly. So the beauty of it was that behind where all of the reporters do the hits on the White House North Lawn, you were going to see these signs stuck in the White House North Lawn. And now we talked about, we get Monica Page on every Friday, and she joins us from the White House North Lawn. So you'll be able to see those when she joins us live on YouTube from the White House on Friday. But so we were talking like how cool it is and how the leftists are going to have to show it, right? Like they're going to have to. It's behind where the reporters do the news hits. And I thought that was a brilliant move by the Trump administration. And then moments ago, I see this clip. It's circulating now on X where MSNBC has their reporter out there doing news hits, and they've decided to blur the mugshots of the illegal alien criminals, gang members, and terrorists that have been deported by the Trump administration behind them. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, you'll see the visual as well, but this is what it sounded like.
White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can
Now on the screen, you see that they have blurred out the mugshot of all of these individuals, yet you can still see the crime. And I think it's important to point out the crime. Just on this screenshot alone, where I have it paused on the screen, I see sexual battery on a child, sexual assault, and murder. That part is unblurred. But MSNBC feels the need to defend and protect the identities of individuals who have committed sexual battery on a child, sexual assault, and murder. That's what MSNBC sees that they need to do. So they're talking about the signs. And it says you can see them there, except for the blurred part.
You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you.
And MSNBC is going to be blurring those pictures out. Got it.
White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. Maria, your response to this image.
Oh, this image. It's so heartbreaking that the Trump administration would tout their accomplishments of getting rid of these illegal alien, gangbanger, human traffickers, child rapists, drug traffickers, fentanyl peddling terrorists. Oh, Maria, what's your reaction? It's been a tough day over there at the White House, hasn't it?
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with Kilmer Abrego Garcia, we don't know if they've had due process. We don't know if, in fact, these individuals do have a rap sheet. So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out.
Blur them out. We don't know. We don't know anything. Blur them out, please. By all means, blur them out. We can't expose these illegal alien gangbangers, human traffickers, drug traffickers, rapists, child rapists, murderers, terrorists to be exposed on TV, can we? No, of course not. Blur them out, please, says MSNBC. MSNBC's blurring them out. They're blurring out all those photos.
The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing. We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of an earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing that it was altered, that it was false, that they had placed gang signs, tattoos on him that weren't real.
No, actually, what that fact check said was, so if you remember the knuckle poster, the picture of Kilmar's knuckles, where it had the marijuana leaf, it had the smiley face, and then it had the 1 and the 3. It's what had happened was the White House put that picture out, and they laid some text over it, so you knew that the marijuana leaf was for the M, that the smiley face was for the S, and so on. And so they fact-checked that picture to say it was altered because the Trump administration put the MS-13 over the knuckles. And she says this to you with a straight face right after she gets through saying that it's their job as journalists to tell the truth and cross-reference things and bring the facts, right? Right. Got it.
And so I would really, the press right now, we are absolutely under attack. Our job is always to have our true north, to make sure that we're presenting balanced news, and making sure that we are not putting folks that are potentially in danger. And having that representation of those pictures in the background, we can't allow that to basically for us to carry the water of potentially innocent people. So I would encourage, I recognize live shots are tough, but I would encourage folks to actually make sure that those shots are blurred to the best of your abilities.
Oh, blur them out, please, says MSNBC. Blur them out because, hey, let's look out for illegal aliens first, right? People are ridiculous. We have a responsibility to tell you the truth and be honest and unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's MSNBC, though. All right, so we had the Pope's funeral over the weekend. Donald Trump and Melania were paying respects to the Pope inside the Vatican. You can see on the screen, a lot of people have been making much ado about nothing when it comes to Donald Trump and his outfit choice. I'm not going to focus too much on that. I think the big story coming out of the funeral over the weekend was one meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky. They reportedly had a private meeting in Rome. There's been a lot of pictures flying around, and one video of the two individuals meeting and then sitting down to have an impromptu chat. It looked like the president of France wanted to join them for this chat, but then Trump said, nah, we don't really need to bring France into all this. So Macron had to leave before Zelensky and Trump sat down to have what we're told was a private conversation. Zelensky said the meeting with Trump in the Vatican was potentially historic. Donald Trump was asked about this meeting with Zelensky at the Vatican as he was departing, and he had a lot of things to say. So Sky News caught up with him and started asking these questions. This is on the tarmac.
What is 2 weeks? Give us. What is the actual date? What is the timeline?
2 weeks or less, and if it's a little more at the time, I say. But, you know, they're losing a lot of people. We have 3,000-4,000 people dying every single week. That's a lot of people to lose. You can imagine parents waving from Ukraine and from Russia, waving to their son as he leaves, and, you know, a week later he's dead on a battlefield, all carved up and chopped up. I've seen it. I see the satellite pictures. They're horrible.
I mean, listen, we can all understand that this war is horrible. We can all understand that this war is at a standstill, and we can all understand that too many people are dying because of it. Donald Trump is trying to bring that peace. Donald Trump meeting with Zelensky over the weekend. They're in constant contact with the guys over in Russia, and he said maybe 2 weeks we can get this thing ended. Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, because what we're seeing is horrible.
They're horrible. I would say it can't get any worse. Body parts laying all over. I don't even like looking at them. Body parts laying all over the fields. What are they doing? It would have never started if I were president.
Is your relationship with President Zelensky better now than things were in the Oval Office?
It was never bad. We had a little dispute because I disagreed with something he said, and the cameras were rolling, and that was okay with me. but we had a dispute. But look, he's in a tough situation, a very tough situation.
Yeah, he is. I love the way Trump downplayed. We had a little dispute. A little, what, that little thing? That was nothing. It was nothing. It was a little dispute. Sure, J.D. Vance broke out the knife hand. Sure, things got a little tense. We got a great relationship, he says. It's nothing short of perfect, right?
But we had a dispute. But look, he's in a tough situation.
Yep.
A very tough situation. He's fighting a much bigger force, much bigger. And that force has not been very distinguished. You know, it's been a lot tougher than they thought. But it helped them when we gave them $350 billion worth of weapons or cash.
Is Zelensky ready to give up Crimea, do you think, Mr. President?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Look, Crimea was 12 years ago. That was President Obama. They gave it up without a shot being fired. So don't talk to me about Crimea. Talk to Obama and Biden about Crimea.
I love that answer. You know, this is one of the sticking points. Crimea. Don't talk to me. That happened way before me. Talk to Obama. Talk to Biden about Crimea. That's who you need to talk to about Crimea.
I was wondering what Zelensky thought.
And remember, this is Biden's war. This isn't Trump's war. I came in to try and solve a problem. And the problem is so many people are being killed.
Yeah, he's right. And let's just continue to pray for peace. I hope that conflict is resolved very, very shortly. We'll be bringing you updates on Russia, Ukraine all day long. I'm sure Murphy's going to have plenty of thoughts on this, as well as the meeting over the weekend at the Vatican. I'm sure Murphy's going to have some wild thoughts, too, on one Judge Hannah Dugan. I won't get to speak to Murphy, but I will get to speak to Chad Benson, who's going to jump in next, see what's got coming up on the Chad Benson Show right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:53, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com.
No gay frogs.
No gay frogs. Betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in the studio. What's up, Chad?
What's up?
You have a good weekend, man?
I did.
What'd you guys do?
To Costco, spent way too much money. Went to gymnastics, enjoyed that. And then yesterday, got up to no good with Mr. Matt Murphy.
Really?
We went golfing together. And boy, that was interesting. Because we went with Kirby, our tech guru that's always out and about with us.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was fantastic.
Who won?
Probably me.
Probably you?
I wasn't, I was up decently for the first 9. Because, but I don't golf much anymore. And I had to buy them. It was so funny. I had my clubs. I was taking off some of the price tags because the only reason I have clubs here is because when my son was here, he wanted to go golfing. So he brought his clubs out. It was like, that's all I want to do, Dad. So one day we go and we go to Plating in Sports and just buy a driver, a little utility hybrid, and a set of clubs and a putter, all used. And I've got some stupid bag that's some high school bag or whatever. So we went out and played yesterday, and it was fun. But yeah, I'm still.
But you won.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right.
It was funny. I hit one.
I'm waiting for the text from Murphy.
On the 4th hole, I hit one, and Murphy goes, "I'll be damned, dude. I think this is about 300 yards." And I go, "Yeah, whatever." He goes, I go, 300 yards, huh, Murph? And he goes, 299, Chad. Okay, 299.
What news stories caught your eye over the weekend? How do you feel about Judge Hannah Dugan?
You know what? It's the reaction. My favorite reaction is they shouldn't have done this. This is the worst thing ever. But by the way, if she did do what he said, you can't do that. That's my favorite reaction to everybody.
So many people have
David Brooks is like, she's a hero, but she's also a criminal.
There's two things are true. What she did was completely illegal, and she's a hero to all of us.
Now, as I said to you, I said to Murph, it's a 24-year-old guy brought here when he was 6. He's got a kid. He hasn't committed any crimes. He owns a little, taqueria truck or something.
He beat up a guy and he beat up a woman.
Yeah, there lies the magic of it all. This wasn't what, and he was deported already.
Yeah.
So the outrage is just, it's bizarre. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The scary part of, everybody's talking about first of all, the first 100 days. What about the other 1,300 days? Do we care about those?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. And I care about actions, but I will say one thing. The amount of people now that are doing buy now, pay later for groceries is scary.
How many you got?
Well, it went from less than 3% in pre-COVID to a 434% rise over the last several months.
Now, do you equate that to the ease of being able to do it and people learning that you can do that now, or do you equate that to the economy?
I think it's the expense of everything. People trying to live the way they did, because I think that's what happened during COVID, right? Everybody got money, they got free stuff, they took that money, they wanted to live their life. When things got more expensive, they extended their credit cards. Now the rates are up, life's more expensive, and they still kind of want to live that way. And for some people who already live close to the edge, it's just getting too damn expensive for life.
How do we fix it?
There's no short-term fix, not at this point. If we're going to continue on with the trade wars, that's one thing. We're going to have a battle, and that's going to go on. Long-term may be great. Short-term, it's going to suck for people, but we all knew that.
I think over the next 100 days, you'll start to see these countries coming in. You'll start to see the markets kind of chill out and realize that the plan is working, and hopefully things kind of settle back down.
No, I hope so too. Because you know this. You can't politically. Because they're already talking about when we get back in power, we're going to impeach.
They're already on it.
Politically, you got to do something. Because you know what we never talk about with Trump? We never talk about Congress. They do nothing.
But it was baked into the cake that they were going to try and impeach him.
Yeah.
Had they had the House and the Senate, they would have already impeached him now.
Yeah, I think they would have tried to. Try to figure out a way to remove him.
They would have impeached him over the Maryland man.
So,
how dare you?
The Maryland man. The Maryland man. We still know where he's at? Anybody?
No.
I haven't heard a word.
Nope.
Because we're on to somebody new now.
They have completely pivoted away from him, and now they're worried about 2-year-olds who their mom is being deported, and she wants her 2-year-old to go with her.
Well, yeah, and that's a custody battle.
Yeah.
That's a custody battle, and that is not a battle of, because the dad wants the kids to stay. That's become a custody battle. So, is It's how you. This goes back to what I talked about the other day. What you leave out is as important as what's in your story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are the kids going with their mother? Yes. She's being deported. They're not. They're staying with mom. So, yes, they are leaving. But that's also a custody battle. And
if only we had a Democrat president that could help us in those custody battles, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, no doubt, right? They just kick in your door and just take those kids away.
Russian. Tell that kid to shut up.
What's Ilian up to today?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, he's a grown-up now.
No, he is fully grown. I think he works for the government.
Really?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he works for the government. I think he became kind of a big mouthpiece for them.
For Cuba?
Yeah, for Cuba.
Cuba.
What'd you talk about today?
Well, we talked about the narrative change on those from Kilmar to the young kids.
Yeah.
Talked about the judges. Talked about the economy a little while. I wanted to get to I wanted to spend more time on Zelensky and what happened over the weekend with the Pope, but we just ran out of time.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much to cover.
There's, every day, and not just here. Do you see what's going on in Spain and Portugal? They have no lights.
No lights. And then it's like Pakistan and India, they're about to go, man.
What they say, 48 hours? If you were born in Pakistan, you got to get out of here?
48 hours. It's insane. They haven't even had time
I'm sure
to
Trump will
cover
get
it.
blamed for that.
Oh, yeah. Somehow, one way or another.
Pakistani man, father sent home to Pakistan. Trump's fault, says Modi.
Orange man bad. Chad's in next. He'll tell you why. It's Super Talk 99.7.